Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends supervillain Ximenu Build-A-Figure Wave, Dormammu. And I'm really excited about this figure because I'm a huge fan of the old school, classic, crazy looking Marvel villains, and Dormammu is a character that I've always wanted. Yes, Hasbro has already given us a Dormammu figure, but it was based on a more recent look or like a video game or something like that. It was a nice figure, but I just wasn't really all that interested in it because it wasn't quite the version that I want. It wasn't this version. So I'm happy that Hasbro has come around and given us this old school, crazy looking classic version of Dormammu. So it's good stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the packaging, you are able to see Dormammu through the window here. You could see the accessories that he comes with, the Build-A-Figure piece. Up front, it says Marvel Supervillains Dormammu. On the side of the box, we get some really cool looking artwork of the character. On the back, we get some more of the same artwork, and then we get a very brief biography about Dormammu. On this side, we have the same artwork as well, and that artwork is awesome. I love the fact that they've committed to giving us this really awesome looking comic book artwork for the comic book characters. I think that's dope, and I just love the way he looks in the packaging with the green and the purples and all that really cool classic Marvel supervillain type of thing. So really good stuff. The packaging is collector friendly as usual, but enough about this pretty box. Let's go ahead and take Dormammu out and take a look at the figure. Break yourself, Dr. Strange. Book. And so here we have Dormammu right out of the packaging, and the first thing I had to do was switch out his hands. Because him and Red Skull share the same body, Hasbro went ahead and threw in all the same hands, which means Dormammu has a set of trigger finger hands. And I'm never going to complain about extra hands, but I think it's pretty funny that they threw these in here. As long as they gave him appropriate hands for the character, I don't really care what else is in there. I could find a use for these hands, you know, so that's probably why they threw them in there. It's like, oh, just put them in there. Those nerds will figure something out. So whatever, but yeah, I think that's funny. But I am happy he did come with hands that fit the character, so I am good to go. But man, I really like this figure, and I wasn't expecting to be like blown away by this figure because, you know, it is a new body, but it's the same body that they used for Red Skull. And, you know, I already kind of checked it out and I knew what I was getting into, but I was really surprised by how different they made this body feel with Dormammu. See, they did add this top piece to make it feel different. They gave him different lower arms, different lower legs. I mean, you could obviously tell they're the same base bodies, but Dormammu has enough going on that it feels different, and I don't feel like I just bought a repaint of another figure. And that is a good way to do reuses. Like, repainting Bucky Cap bodies over and over and over, that sucks, and I really do think that it kind of damages Marvel Legends as a whole. You know, it kind of gives a reputation that they just do repaints or whatever. I'm okay with repaints if they work and if they're clever and there's some effort put into it, and that's the case here. Like, you have these guys next to each other, they look like completely different figures, and it's just awesome. I think this is very good reuse of parts, and just they did a great job just adding all these different things on there and just making it feel like a different figure. And I gotta say, I think I might like this Dormammu figure more than I like Red Skull, which is crazy because I love this Red Skull figure, but I like this Dormammu figure about the same, if not more. I just think he's so cool looking. I just love everything about it. Like I said, I love the old school villains with like the wacky costumes, and Dormammu's costume always made me laugh because he's like a crazy demonic spirit, but he has like a jumpsuit or like actual clothing with wrinkles and shit like that. So I always thought that was funny. And I think they did a really good job on Dormammu's head sculpt. As you could see, it's mostly made up of translucent plastic for the flames, and then the face has a more solid look. And I like how they have those lines on his face to give him that old school comic book feel, so that's really dope. And then he does have this black plastic thing around his face, and I like the way that it looks like it's kind of floating on his head, you know. I think that's dope. It's pegged into his chin, so you really don't have to worry about it falling off or anything, and I think that's cool. And the color of the face makes it kind of hard to make out the face because the color is pretty similar to the color of the flames. So from far away, it's kind of hard to see it, but when you look up close, you could definitely make out the face, and I think it looks really good. But I think it would have been better if they made it maybe like a little bit more pink. But yeah, these translucent flames on the head are really dope. Check this out. If you get some light behind it, that looks awesome right there. So I gotta find a way to like take some pictures of this and hide the light source behind his head, but that is really cool. If they would have made this guy light up somehow, this would have been next level, but as it is, this is super dope. So those translucent flames work really good for something like that. Man, that's cool. But yeah, I think they did a good job with the head sculpt. And then moving down into the body here, he does have these shoulder pads or something. I don't even know what you want to call them, but they are soft plastic. They don't get in the way of the articulation at all. And this collar piece around his neck kind of helps keep that black floating thing in place. So that's cool. And the rest of the body is familiar. You know, it's the Red Skull body, so it has all the same detail that we saw on that figure, except for on the arms. The arms are a little bit different. And they have some sculpting work on here. The waistband is different. And then the lower legs are different. But yeah, this body does look good. A bunch of nice sculpting work on here. There's a little bit of paint work in there too, it looks like. Like a very subtle wash, maybe? I don't know, maybe it's just the shadows. In any case, I love the way the purple looks, and I love the way this figure looks. So I think they did a really great job of capturing that old school classic Dormammu look. And for accessories, Dormammu does come with the Build-A-Figure piece. As you can see, he comes with Xemnu's left arm. And then he also comes with multiple sets of hands. As we mentioned before, he does come with a set of trigger finger hands. He comes with a set of open hands. And then he comes with a pair of fists. And then last but not least, he does come with a couple of effect pieces that you could wrap around his arm, and I think these are pretty cool. It would have been nice if he came with some more effects, but it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with the accessories that he comes with. And then for some size comparisons, we have Dormammu alongside the Toy Biz Dr. Strange, and I went ahead and took his cape off because if you take the cape off, he's still a really good looking figure. But we definitely need an update from Hasbro. I think they could make an amazing classic Dr. Strange. I'm surprised that they haven't already, but they could probably even use this Dormammu Red Skull body. But I would think they'd have to find a way to make them at least a little shorter than Dormammu. I don't know. But I think the texture and the details and stuff would work well for Dr. Strange. So hopefully, somehow they give us a new classic Dr. Strange. And on the opposite side, we have the Marvel Legends Brother Voodoo. And then here we have Dormammu alongside Red Skull, which is probably tied with him for the best figure in the wave, alongside the worst figure in the wave, Parker Robbins, aka the Hood. And I'm not going to review him, but yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. He looks okay standing on the shelf, and I think the hood has like a really cool texture to it, but aside from that, it's a pretty boring figure. And I just think it was a mistake for them to try to do that character, because the character is basically his hood, which, you know, like if you're going to do a character based on their hood, it should be like a soft goods situation, and Hasbro doesn't do that. So they probably should have just avoided this character entirely. On top of that, I've never been a fan of this character, so I really hope that people that are a fan of this character enjoy it, but personally, I don't like this thing at all. And next up, we have him alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Classic Dr. Strange and the Mezco 112 Collective PX Exclusive Dr. Strange, and I think these guys work pretty well with him. The good thing about Dormammu is that he kind of changes sizes. Like in the comics, he was always a different size, so his scale isn't necessarily that important. I mean, I prefer Dormammu to be big and imposing, but it still makes sense for him to be like the same height as Dr. Strange or whatever, because he could do what he wants, so anything really works. And then of course we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And for the final size comparison, we have the classic Dormammu alongside the Marvel Legends Astral Projection version of Dr. Strange and the Marvel Legends more modern looking Dormammu. Both of these figures come from the Book of Ashanti San Diego Comic-Con exclusive box set, and I forget what a beast this Dormammu figure is. He's huge, he looks great, and it's a really nice figure, but like I said at the beginning, my preferred version of Dormammu is this old school classic goofy looking version, so I'm happy that Hasbro came around and gave us this classic look. And as far as this Dr. Strange goes, I only have the Astral Projection version of this. I need to track down the regular one. For whatever reason, I just skipped it. I don't know why, but I need to fix that, because how dumb is it to only have the the Astral Projection version? He needs to have his body laid up somewhere, so I need to fix that. And even though we just looked at this body's articulation a couple of videos ago, let's go ahead and take a look anyways. So first off, the head does have that new style of neck, but it's a little hindered because of the flames and this headpiece and the shoulder pad thing and all that. It kind of gets in the way of all the movement, but you could still get some side to side. You could still get some tilt. He can only look up to about right there, and then he could look down to right there. So not a whole lot of head movement, but you get a little bit. And then for the torso, it could crunch forward to right there. And you don't want to try to push it further than that, because I did notice, after someone pointed it out to me on my Red Skull review, when I pushed his torso forward a little bit, it did leave a little stress mark. So this time around, I know not to try to go further than what it naturally goes, which is just right there. So not a whole lot of ab crunch, but you know, it's okay for this type of character. Does go back to about right there. Again, not a whole lot, but I could live with it. And then he does have a waist swivel. For the arms, they do go all the way around, and his shoulder pad spike thing doesn't really get in the way because it is soft plastic, so you can get his arm to go all the way around. You could bring his arms out to the side to about right there. So pretty good stuff. He does have upper bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows, which get a really good bend. I know some people don't like the way the elbows look, but it's just kind of the nature of arms that have, like, you know, cloth type of sculpting. It's always going to look a little funny at the elbow. For me, as long as it's not a huge eyesore and they're functional, I'm happy, and that's the case here. So we do get a good bend. And then at the wrist, we do have swivel and hinge. And then for the legs, they do come out to the side to about right there. They kick forward to right there. They come back to right there. They don't really come back too much at all, actually. The butt kind of stops it. He does have upper thigh swivel. He has double jointed knees. Let's see here. Boom, there we go. Double jointed knees that are really nice, so that he could throw that flying knee at Dr. Strange. Bam! Then he does have lower leg swivel, rocking ankles, and then they do go forward to right there and then come up to right there. So yeah, this body has pretty decent articulation, especially for a character like Dormammu. I think it's probably more than enough, so I'm happy with the articulation. Alright, so overall, I like this figure a lot. I'm super happy with it, and I'm so excited to finally have a classic Dormammu for my Marvel Legends display. He's a classic villain, and this version of this character is long overdue in figure form, so I'm happy that Hasbro finally came through and gave it to us, and they just really embraced the old school wacky look that Dormammu used to have. And not just Dormammu, a lot of the Marvel villains back in the day just looked kind of crazy, but this figure really encapsulates that feeling. I love the colors, the red, the purple, the yellow. It all looks awesome. I like the translucent flames on the head. It's cool how you could put a light behind it and kind of give it a different look. I think that is super dope. I appreciate that he came with multiple sets of hands, even though one of the sets of hands is absolutely unnecessary for this character. We did get a pair of fists and open hands, so I do like those a lot. I really do wish that he came with some more flame effects. He only came with these two little ones that are pretty good, but it would have been nice if they put some more in there. But I'm not going to complain too much because he did come with multiple hands and some effects. So, you know, at that point, I'm pretty happy with it. But just in general, I'm extremely satisfied with this figure, and I really hope that Hasbro continues to give us these old school wacky villains. Not everything needs to be new and dark and edgy and all that shit. Like, I love the old school, colorful, classic Marvel universe, and it's so cool to see Hasbro touching on that and just not ignoring it completely, you know? So I'm super happy with this, and it makes me very excited to think about what other characters they can pull from this era, you know? There's so many crazy looking villains and heroes, and I'm just happy to see that Hasbro's not ignoring it, even though it's old school. So it's really good stuff. But right now, he kind of feels incomplete because we don't have a Dr. Strange that necessarily matches up with him as far as the classic look goes. I mean, we do have the Toy Biz one, but he's definitely outdated, so hopefully Hasbro comes through sooner rather than later and gives us a new Dr. Strange. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy this Dormammu. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.